Okay, right, so we're going to start this video tutorial by going to your start menu, all programs, and then Microsoft SQL Server. Latest one I've got is 2012, which is a little bit old, but just go to your Microsoft SQL Server folder on your start menu and then look for SQL Server Management Studio. So we're first going to create a very basic database, and then I'm going to show you how to connect to your database through an ASP.NET Core web application, and we're going to do some conditional formatting, which is quite a cool feature. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. So in your SQL Server, now this tutorial assumes you have installed SQL Server onto your machine. If you don't know how to install SQL Server onto your local machine, I did upload that into one of my other videos on this channel, so just have a look at other uploads. So okay, just select your server name. This can be your local machine or on your network. Click connect and expand databases, or just right click on databases and say new database. Okay, let's just give it a name. We're going to call this the ratings database. Click OK, and it's going to create a database for you in the background. And there we go, ratings. So let's go to tables and say new table. Okay, let's give it a primary key column. It's going to call it ratings ID, and going to make this an int and not allow nulls, because this is going to be our primary key. Okay, and also make sure you set this as a primary key just over here. Click there, and we want it to auto increment, as we don't want to have the problem of creating new IDs all the time. So we're going to go here to identity specification, say yes, and it's going to increment by 1. And it's going to start with a seed of 1. Okay, let's just give it a rating column. This we're just going to make varchar, storing text strings, and leave the length at 50, and let's just put in say you wanna keep ratings of employees, so say employee name. Let's also make that varchar. Okay, let's save this table, and we're going to call it rating. Okay, and then we're going to click on just highlight tables and click refresh, and there you will see the rating table. Now go select right click and say edit top 200 views rows, and let's just put in some data here. So ratings ID is going to automatically create for you. It's going to automatically create IDs. So let's say this is low rating. Employee name is, say, Jones Martin. Let's put in another one. Let's say this is medium, and this is Sarah Marshall, and let's put in another rating. Is going to call this rating high, and let's just put in a name there. Okay. Right, so there we got 3 ratings. Now let's go and create we go to Visual Studio. You can use any Visual Studio version. I'm using the latest 2017. Okay, so we're gonna open up our Visual Studio. And let's go to File, New, Project. And remember, we're going to create a ASP.NET Core, so you can expand your Visual C# node here. You can either click on Web, and it will have the option of ASP.NET Core Web Application, or you can go to .NET Core, which also have that option. So I just usually go to Web, so Web Application, select ASP.NET Core Web Application. Let's just give it a name. Any name you want. Ratings web app. Okay, click on OK, and it's gonna create your solution framework for you in the background. Okay, so make sure that you select .NET Core there and not the normal .NET framework, .NET Core, and of course this is for platform independence. Your .NET Core application can run on anything, Windows, Unix. It's not just restricted to Microsoft machines. And here make sure you have the latest .NET Core 2.0. Okay, and we're going to go with a MVC application, so web application with model view controller. Okay, we're not going to use any authentication for now, that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. Let's click on OK. And then it's going to create the web application. Okay, so when it's done creating the application, you can go to the View menu and select Solution Explorer if it doesn't show up at first. And here we're gonna right click on our ratings web app, and we're gonna go to manage NuGet packages, and we're going to install Entity Framework, Microsoft Entity Framework. We're going to use that as our data layer instead of the older ADO.NET. So let's search here for Entity Framework. Okay, let's highlight it there and click Install. Okay, let's just click on OK, accept, and it's going to install this NuGet package into our Visual Studio project solution. Okay, as you can see, it's just busy. It's still busy installing. Okay, and looks like it is finished. So what we're going to do next is to go to the controllers folder. You're going to right click before that, we're gonna just go to the root of the web application, the top level, and select right click and say add. new item. We're going to first add you're going to go to just say cancel, or is it just right click? And what we're looking for is the data model. So item, okay, sorry, since this is .NET Core, ASP.NET Core, we're going to go to the controllers folder and right click and say add new scaffolded item. Okay, you're going to select here MVC controller with views using entity framework. Click on add. Okay, so we don't have a model class yet, so let's just go and create one quickly. So right click on our models folder. We actually forgot to do that and say new item, new class, and let's just call it the ratings class. Okay, and here we're just going to add some properties, which basically is an abstraction of the table that you created. The ratings table here on SQL Server, you're going to have ratings ID, rating, and the employee name. So let's put that in. Ratings ID. Make it a property, and let's put in another one. This one is going to be a string, and it's going to be the actual rating. And then the last one is going to be the employee name. Okay, get them set. Okay, here we go. So now we can go back to controllers and right click, add new scaffolded item. You're going to select MVC controller with views using entity framework. Click on add. The model class, we're going to select the one we've just created, ratings. And here we're going to say the data context class. We're going to ask it to create a new one for us. Okay, so you can just basically take the default name that it gives you here. Let's just take the word models out here, it's not necessary. Okay, click on add, leave all the defaults. Okay, and if everything goes well, we will soon have the controller and the view, which it's going to create for us. In the background, it's going to scaffold it. Okay, so we got a little bit of an error here. It says the entity type ratings requires a primary key to be defined. So let's just cancel this dialog box and go into our model and put in a key, primary key here. So we'll probably need to add a namespace. Let's see. This one. Okay, as you can see here, the data annotations namespace in system.component model. Let's save everything and let's just see if we can build the solution, and then we give the scaffolding another try. Okay, so we can see here build succeeded. So let's go back to the controllers, right click, add new scaffolded item. Once again select MVC controller with views using entity framework and select our model, and you can see here it's empty, there's no existing data context classes, so let's click on the plus sign for it to create one for us. Okay. And you can see here it says generating code. And this is a very nice feature of the new MVC frameworks. In the past you had to create all of this code manually by hand, so this saves a lot of time. Okay, right, and it's finished. So you can see it created a controller named ratings controller, and let's just see if we can run it like this. Okay, and it's opening in our browser, busy loading our MVC ASP.NET Core MVC application. Okay, so it's just going to this default page. So where we want to go is to we want to go to the ratings controller. So type into the URL ratings. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got an unhandled exception. It looks like SQL exception, so it can't seem to log on to the database. That means we have to close this and correct our database connection string. Stop your application, and let's just have a look at this file appsettings.json, just under the views folder, just next to it. And here it says connection strings. Just make sure that you point to the actual server. So I've just put in my correct SQL Server name here, and the database name is ratings. Okay, and trusted connection true, so it uses Windows authentication. Okay, so let's just save that, and let's just run it again. Okay, so it crashed again, and this is good so that you can see what kind of errors you can come across. So it's another problem with our connection string. So let's just stop the application and go back to that appsettings.json file, and let's just make sure the connection string is fine. So it needs to look something like this. Okay, server is your server name. In my case, there's got to be you see two backslashes, escape characters. Okay, the database name is obviously ratings. Okay, sorry, that's all caps. Ratings. Okay, integrated security equals true, and all the rest. Okay, so let's run it again. Okay, so it's opened up. Let's just put in our correct controller name again, ratings, and see if we can hit it now. Okay, so it's got a problem with this database name. Okay, let's just have a look what's going on here. Ratings. Okay, so why has it got a problem with this? Okay, right, so make sure in your connection string it's called ratings context, and then your server name, make sure that it's correct, spelled correct, and the database is ratings. So let's use the plural naming convention here, and make sure your database is called ratings as well as your table is ratings. So it's just naming conventions here, not to get it confused up. So it's ratings context, and if you go to the db context file, the ratings context file, it's also called ratings context, and as well as our db set, which refers to the table, is ratings. Okay, and it's got ratings ID. So just make sure that your spelling is correct everywhere. So let's run it again. Okay, the build has succeeded. It's gonna open up your internet browser. Okay, here we go. And in our URL, just put there / and the name of your the actual name of the controller, ratings controller. Okay, it's just stepping into the code here. There's a breakpoint, that's why it's coming in here. So let's just click continue, and it should show us the content of the ratings table, the data that we entered into the database. Okay, so there we go. So now the next step is I want to show you how to do some conditional formatting in ASP.NET Core. We want to, for instance, show a low rating as green, medium maybe as orange, and high as red. So let's see how we do that in ASP.NET Core. Let's close this here, and we're basically going to go to the view. So in your views folder, ratings, go to the index.cs HTML, and we're going to just modify some of this code over here where it loops through all the items in your table. So here we're going to put in some code to conditionally format the color. Okay, and I'm just gonna copy here a piece of my code that I've compiled earlier, and let's just go back to our view. Okay, so here we're gonna paste our code in here. Okay, so right at the beginning of the loop, there's a for each loop here, as you'll see, and it will iterate through the model, which in this case is your ratings table. Okay, and so we're gonna declare a variable here, a string variable. Say let's call it rating level. Rating level. Okay, and it's gonna say item dot. Just get rid of this. Okay, and we're gonna say rating. Okay, .toString. It's not really necessary because it it's not necessary because it is already a string. And then so we're gonna say here, so if rating level is low, we're gonna say style equals, style is just a string variable, it's gonna just change the color. Okay, like that. Okay, and then we want to associate it with our item display. So we're gonna use this style attribute of the table. Okay, right here. So we're gonna put it here at where it says rating. So this TD tag here Okay, we're going to just say style equals at style, and this is going to give this element a coding, a color code. So let's save that, go back, sorry, just stop the application and run it again, and let's see if we can get the color coding working based on conditional formatting. So we're just saying if the rating level is low, we're going to apply a style of green. So this is the CSS that we're setting here on the view, on the razor view. We're doing some inline styling just to show you the concept. / ratings, and let's see what it looks like. And there we go. So you can see low is green, medium is orange, and red is high. So that's how you do some conditional formatting in ASP.NET Core. Right, and it's actually very simple, as you can see. It's just that within the view, our index view, all we're using is we're just putting in some code into our for each loop here, and based on the rating column in that table, if it's low, we set style green. If it's medium, orange. High is red, and then we just associated that style, inline styling, the style attribute of the table of this the table cell, the TD element, and it's as easy as that. So that's the important thing, and also the connection string. Just make sure the spelling is correct. Okay, and that's it, guys. I hope you find this video useful. If you like it, please click on the like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, and click on the bell icon to get notified of new videos that I will upload here on ASP.NET Core and other C# projects and programs. So yeah, if you like it, please join me again, and keep a watch out on my channel for many more videos to come. Cheers, bye.